insight.tech talk, where we explore the latest IoT, AI, ed, and network technology trends and innovations. As always, I'm your host, Christina Cardoza, Editorial Director of insight.tech, and today we're taking it to the road talking about intelligent traffic management with Joe Harvey from ISS, which stands for Intelligent Security Systems. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I'm excited to dive into this conversation, but first I want to know a little bit more about yourself and what you do at ISS.
So here at ISS, I'm the ITS market sector lead. What I'm doing is taking our leaders, our founders, what their visions are for the analytics and the neural networking efforts that we do here at our company and bringing those into the ITS market space. ISS has a background of 25 plus years in being a security and safety company, and we've developed this vast network of analytics and just really safety solving solutions. In the last 3 to 4 years, that has now been my responsibility to bring that into the ITS market space and allow those solutions to really take fruit and take hold in the marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to see the advancements and what these solutions can do to improve industries. A lot of times on the podcast, we're talking about how they can help, manufacturing plants or retail areas. And today we're talking about traffic management, which I think is something that a lot of people, whether you're the driver, commuter, passenger, they struggle with. So it's amazing to see a part of the technology and advancements be able to be applied to everyday life. So I wanted to start the conversation just looking at, the state of traffic management today and where are some of the improvements where a company like ISS can come in and help.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think you hit on something in the lead up there too, that these products and what ISS has done have been in the marketplace for 25 plus years. As AI and neural networking becomes a little more buzzwordy or just even a little more in the conscious of everyday space, we are seeing them applied in a lot of different areas, specifically ITS. Being able to take that fundamental just understanding and growing from a really grassroots side where we control the build of all of the products, all of the solutions, and kind of taking a la carte approach when you're looking at ITS to apply those specifically into the solution space. ITS for a very long time has had a lot of traditional measures, has been grounded in a lot of I'd say push back to technology at times, right and wrong, because we do have great solutions that work in this space. But as more and more technology feeds into that area, and they can see just from a safety saving device, a data rich standpoint, what a solution like ISS can offer, or several of the companies in the space that are pushing into it now with neural networking, video intelligence, and pushing that forefront, we're seeing things rapidly change. And that's where the excitement really is in ITS now, how the interconnected realm is going to really work with everyday motorists and how companies like ISS can be at the forefront of that conversation.
Yeah, so let's dig deeper into that a little bit. AI's role in all of this. How can AI start to be integrated into something like traffic management that drivers, city planners, government officials, that we start seeing some improvements there?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a vast portfolio of products that AI, neural network, video intelligence are at the core of every single one of those. For a end user agency, when you're taking a look at either data gathering from a standpoint of vulnerable road users, from your traveling everyday motorist, urban, arterial, out on freeway, being able to use devices that are gathering this data in a manner that is at a 95, 96, 90% accuracy, and being able to do it real-time, automated, where an operator is then only responding to a specific need. One of the specific products that we have here at ISS is a pedestrian safety device. it has a dynamic illumination for pedestrians within crosswalks. When you think about the more traditional measures, you're asking a driver to react to a notification that, hey, a pedestrian may be in the crosswalk. When you are think about driving in a school zone, you come up, you have that yellow static sign that says, hey, this is a school crossing. What we have done is leveraged AI and the camera technology in order to dynamically illuminate at dusk or nighttime hours a pedestrian, a child, a mobility device that is within the crosswalk and actually show where they are. This was a revolutionary thing for our company in the industry just because no one has done anything like that before. But if you also take a look at like signalized intersection, more of the traditional road measures are, if you ever come up and you see just a cutout in the road and you wonder what construction or what may have happened, there's magnetic loops in the ground. If you look up at the intersection, you may see a number of devices up there, but with the development of cameras, along with AI, we're really seeing the ability for the controller, the smarts, the brains behind those intersections, being able to greater understand its environment, be able to react real time if there is an incident. So if you have collisions, near miss is a really big topic for us right now. Having an operator take a look at that, or traditionally someone has picked up the phone and called and said, wow, you just had someone go through that intersection at 50 miles per hour on a red light. You have an issue here. An engineer would have to go out to the field, take a look at what's going on. With cameras, with AI, and with video intelligence, all of that is at the fingertips constantly of operators, and they're able to react much quicker and or look at these data sets long-term to affect change on the roadways when they're looking at design or reshaping of the roadway itself.
Yeah, I can imagine those visual analytics just become even that more important. I'm thinking about sometimes I see workers on the side of the road, they have their radar guns out, they're making sure, testing the speed of everybody going, making sure the speed is correct there, but you can have different things happening at different times. And, one person going like really fast at some area could mess up the entire sample data. So, if you're able to visually see what happened at that time, it could help provide deeper insights beyond that real-time analytics that you were talking about. I'm thinking being able to improve overall city planning and being able to improve these traffic areas like the lights and how often things happen there.
The original adoption of cameras was a little hit or miss because of just their inability at times, especially during weather events. But with the advancements there, and then along with you have this neural network that is able to understand those environments and make adjustments on the fly, exactly what you said. Instead of getting partial data outliers and making assessments on ones and zeros that an engineer might be looking at, they're able to go back and actually pull those video feeds and really drive true meaning and understanding to the data that they're looking at.
I'm curious, since we're using AI, are you guys able to implement any models or automatic triggers that say if one event happens, this event will happen? I'm thinking just from my personal experience, my parents live a mile down the road and there's just one light between us and them, and that light can be 5 minutes long to get to their house, and there will be no cars coming on either way. So I'm just wondering if there could be like an AI trigger that says, okay, a car has pulled up, there's no other cars coming, we're going to make it green and I can get to my parents' house faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Something as simple as, yes, at the given intersection where you're able to visually take a look, basically place a call into the signalized controller in order to affect the signal phase and timing, or SPAT. Absolutely, that is something that we are presently doing and we're seeing in the marketplace. There's a statistic that anywhere from, I think there's 300 to 400,000 intersections within the United States, signalized intersections. Somewhere around half of those still either are without detection or some sort of outdated or historical method. So like the loops that I had made mention of, and being able to add these visual aids that, again, yes, the algorithms and the video intelligence is able to advise that a vehicle is there and limit the congestion, limit the environmental impact of a car sitting and waiting 2-3 minutes at some of these intersections, but also then gather all of that data. What time of day? What type of vehicles? Are there other pedestrians? Do you have a heavy bike or scooter population that might be an alternative method that you are unaware of during certain times of day? All of these data points are really helping engineers continue that conversation. And honestly, long term, as more and more devices get connected and more of these end user agencies are able to take inputs of an alerted event and interconnect everything that they have at their fingertips, they're making the roads safer and real impact at time of event to affect that change. And it is honestly the reason a lot of us are in this industry, because we can see that change, but we are seeing it right now happen very quickly.
Yeah, all of these benefits, it would seem to me a no-brainer to start implementing this intelligent technology at these intersections on the roads. But like you mentioned, a lot of these intersections still have outdated or traditional technology. So how can they start making these improvements? What are the challenges to implementing it? Can they leverage any existing infrastructure? How does that work?
Yeah, that's at least from our standpoint here at ISS, one of the benefits to the end user agency that we are taking a look at. With the just pure amount of capital that is spent on infrastructure, what we are looking to do is leverage what customers might have in field already and being able to build on top of that. When you hear scalability or flexibility from a manufacturer, what that means from ISS is the cameras that are already out within the traveling motorist, within the infrastructure of a end user agency, we are able to take that input and just leverage our video intelligence and our neural network in order to provide whatever outcome they may be looking for. If that is something like the intersection technology, if that is for pedestrian safety, is it just incident detection? Use what you've already had in place and leverage that, and then allow ISS as a manufacturer to continue to build on top of that and give this scalability to agencies. Funding is our tax dollars, and we understand that. Much of the ITS market space is exactly that. We need to make sure that those dollars being spent, even if new technology and advancements are being made, we can make best use of those dollars pre-spent by an agency and ultimately the traveling public that is funding what is going out on their road space.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to be able to give our listeners a clearer picture of how this works. So I'm curious if you have any, real world examples or customer case studies, anything that you can share with us of how ISS came in, whether you worked with a city official, government official, how you guys came in and implemented the technology and what the result of that was.
Yeah, there's a number off the top of my head. A few are specifically in tolling agencies where if you've ever driven in heavy populated areas and been on a toll road, there are a number of cameras and just devices that are up on the gantries, already in use by that agency. Being able to go in and provide, in this case, our LPR solution, where we're able to be a part of the totality of what that governing body may be doing. So in that case, if we are doing license plate capturing, in some places we're just doing flow estimation, so your speed, volume, gap, occupancy, different things like that. Again, the data engineers just hold dearly, need constantly in order to make these decisions about where they're going to bring different roads into, how they're going to reshape where we might be driving. So that is one aspect. I would say the biggest scale we've done was actually in Mexico City as a global company founded in here in the US, but as a global company, we actually have implemented in Mexico City our Secure OS, which is our operating system within their entire agency, and we are that operating system, the end point for their operators to use, and have somewhere north of 65,000 cameras, along with alarming devices, horns, and really have taken their smart city, allowed the interconnection between all of these physical devices to live on our network, and we are able to then leverage, again, that neural network to really just open up the possibilities. If you think about that number of cameras and the number of personnel you would have to have in order to even review or take a look at live, allowing our system to really be that point of the spear for them and everything else to just kind of live behind was transformational for Mexico City. So that's our feather in the hat. That was a very large project for us, but allows you to kind of understand the scale to which some of these very large cities in the world or here in the US have, and kind of what their need is when reviewing just inbound video into their system.
Those are awesome use cases to hear. And I imagine with Secure OS, obviously intelligent security systems, security is in your name. So, when we think of that, sometimes it's thought about like safety and surveillance and protecting what the cameras are capturing, but also on the back end, the security, we're talking about collecting license plate data, collecting videos of drivers. So, I assume that Secure OS or any other technology and solutions that you guys have, privacy and security of keeping that data safe and making sure that, personal data is protected is something that you guys are also on top of.
Absolutely, it is. At the forefront of kind of the digital age has been both a privacy aspect, but then a security aspect. Yes, as our name implies, ISS, Intelligent Security Systems, as you made mention too, we had our grounding in what physical security meant for real-world applications and have continued to build on that. From the privacy standpoint, the industry has taken a branched approach in what they are looking at from the standpoint of what we are actually capturing out on the roadway, where we can blur faces, blur license plates, actually have the intelligence within the cameras understand and help us remove any of that personal data. But from the standpoint of then what is captured, working with each agency individually on what their standards are. And then from a security standpoint here at ISS, being able to follow all of the major outlines for your security, for your privacy, and making sure that any advancement that we might make, that is the parallel path that we are making sure we are following, because trust and kind of understanding from our users is paramount to our success. It has to be a part of what we do. And for us here at ISS has been kind of a driving parallel path to what we bring to market.
Absolutely. And that's great to hear, because technology and all these things, no matter how big the benefits that they do bring, there's always going to be those privacy or data concerns. So it's great to be able to have a solution that gives you both. You can take advantage of all these benefits and ensure that data and sensitive information is protected. And I also, since we're talking about AI, I wanted to ask, and I should mention insight.tech and the insight.tech talk. We are sponsored by Intel, but I can imagine being able to apply AI to these different areas. You need it to be high performant. You're collecting real time analytics. So that needs to happen at the edge. So I can imagine that you are using and partnering with Intel in all of this. So I'm just curious what the value of that partnership and the technology used from Intel has been for ISS.
Yes, I would say almost invaluable when you're going to try to really put into a box what companies like ISS needs from a performance standpoint and the partnership we need with a company like Intel. As advancements continually get made, more and more of our end user agencies are asking us to include different data points and just push the capabilities of what the physical hardware and software are without a company like Intel understanding and the forethought they have of what the marketplace is going to need and how they can be a benefit to manufacturers to instantly react, to have solutions, and truly partner with us to solve problems that we are seeing in the real world. You can't understand how great of an impact that has from our standpoint and ultimately the rest of the industry that is relying on an Intel to really continue to push that forward for us.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see some of these technologies and advancements come to my area and be just more widely adopted and more spread out, get to my parents' house a little faster. But I appreciate this conversation. It's been, very interesting to hear. Before we go, Joe, I just wanted to turn it back to you one last time. Any final thoughts or key takeaways you want to leave our listeners with today?
Really just understanding what is possible from a Intel, from a video intelligence company, and what the traveling motorists are going to see. We are trying to solve problems that are either real-time today, actual events that you are seeing out on the roadway, but also looking to partner and solve problems that we don't even understand yet. As that connected realm continues to kind of build itself, more and more challenges will be brought to us and asked of us to solve. And we believe here at ISS that we are up for that challenge, but we look forward to continuing conversations with all parties to see how we can leverage the strength of what we've built here over 25 plus years and everybody else that is interconnected within solving these problems to transform the traveling public. So we look forward to it. We appreciate being a part of it. ITS is in our lifeblood here at ISS, so we're just happy to be a part and appreciate the time to just share a little bit of our knowledge and the excitement behind these products, the solutions, and the entire space itself.
Great. And I would urge all of our listeners, like Joe said, see how you can partner with ISS, visit the website, have any real world problems you're looking to solve. We've talked about intelligent traffic management today, but ISS offers many different solutions across many different industries. So, have a conversation with Joe and the team and see how they can help you out solve your problems. Also, keep up with us on insight.tech as we continue to cover partners like ISS in this space. So thank you, Joe, again for joining us. Thank you to our listeners. Until next time, this has been Insight.Tech Talk.